Mr. McKay?
Yeah, thank you. And just so you, the council understands, Mr. Zaman, our acting, and myself, we're sort of doing double duty on some of the files to make sure that he doesn't get overloaded. So certainly in terms of the snow removal, him and I and our public works manager certainly have been involved in this file for a week. So as we all know, it was on a week ago Friday, we had the major snowstorm that was predicted and did happen, and it snowed from Friday well into Sunday, and then no sooner did that happen, come Monday, the wind picked up a bit and started moving that light snow. So in terms of the program, I can tell you we did use discretion. We did have equipment out on the weekend during the storm onto the main arteries, and I can tell you from a personal experience, going out about 3 o'clock on the Saturday, 9th Avenue Northwest had already been plowed once, and that was good. As council knows, the priority, we also have a priority to have downtown, the metered area, cleaned within 72 hours if it's more than 15 centimeters. The rough calculation is over this storm we had approximately 30 centimeters. So the first thing I want to point out is the policy and the equipment and the manpower we have in place is that large snow event of 15 centimeters. Well, this was twice as much. Good news was it was light, and so it moved and whatnot. So in terms of the rollout of the plan, there was discretion used the first weekend. Equipment was put out. The decision was made on early Saturday afternoon, that we would be going to what we call the emergency plowing event, which is more than 15 centimeters, which then enacted that we would be cleaning downtown within 72 hours, and the priority ones. So that became the first focus. I can say that as of Tuesday morning, which was slightly more than the 72 hours and one additional evening, if you were downtown Tuesday morning, which again, it was a long weekend, open for business. When the business is open Tuesday morning, the metered areas had been cleaned and the snow had been picked up. I drove down Main Street myself that morning, and the one observation I made was it was clean, the snow had been picked up, and we actually were out front of some of the businesses. They cleaned off the sidewalk in front of their businesses and pushed into the meters, which was totally acceptable, but this is the first time in my knowledge and the public works manager that we actually were ahead of that. Where some of the confusion comes in is we can't be in more than one place at once. So the metered areas were cleaned. We then move on to the priority ones, which is the bus routes. And I would mention on the bus routes, the policy also calls for what we call an emergency passage plow. And that means we don't lift up as we go by the residents, by the driveways. We were in contact with the public, with the transit manager, and the decision was made that was not required because the snow was so light that the vehicles were actually, and the buses were actually moving quite well throughout the city. So we didn't do the passage plow. We continued to work on getting the downtown, the priority ones clear. The priority two, and that takes place in a 24-hour cycle. We remove the snow at night. So for the first 4 nights, there was a 24-hour clock going. Then we're back to the days doing finishing up priority 1s and 2s. Priority 2s should be finished by Wednesday. Again, it's a little more than the 7.5 days that we would like to meet, but again, it's 30 centimeters of snow, not 15. So I think all things considered, where I think the public concern and the calls come in is, what about the residential area? That's the area that obviously the calls are coming in. And again, the residential area, they are the last resort, unless there's a blockage, and that blockages and the priority ones come immediately. So the blockages, and so Today and over the weekend, the Public Works Manager reviewed various streets in terms of what's the status of the residential. In a lot of the residential, the snow is now packed due to the traffic. The rule is that if there's 4 inches of rutting, then we initiate a plow in the residential. What I think we will find over the next few days is our first observation is that there will be some residential that will be nearing the 4 inches, and we will be doing some plowing. But at this point, we're not anticipating that there'd be a full citywide residential plow, because in various areas some have been packed. In terms of the response, we did access all the available public sector equipment, as well as our crews. And quite frankly, I think the crews and the plan that was rolled out with 30 centimeters of snow actually worked very well. It would have been nice that we could be in more places at the same time, but you have to have priorities. If we would have had twice the equipment, we could have done everything in half the time. But then what do you do with that other equipment all the other 48 weeks of the year or 49 weeks of the year when you don't need it? So that's what the plan brings out. I can tell you the calls that we received at City Hall, most of the concern was more about the residential, and even that those calls were less than we've had prior to the new policy that came into place after the last December review. So I think here we are, 10 days later, or actually about 7 days later, 8 days later, after the snowfall ended, and you look around the community, and I think it worked very well.